Some Mongolian throat singing for you boys.
What the hell was that?
I'm
Y'all
so
boys
thrown
ready?
off. I'm so thrown
Y'all
off.
boys ready?
Oh my
Hell yeah.
I'm ready now.
Y'all ain't ready? Shit. Y'all ain't ready? Y'all watched the documentary last night, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched the document. Oh, I watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself, so I had to stop it after
I'm
2.
Y'all ain't ready.
I'm through
Y'all
too.
ain't ready for this. This is college football extravaganza. Back with another season. New look. We're getting things all together. I'm gonna have to do some producing down here, so we can switch on and off because your boy didn't go to school for audio and visual production, but that's okay. We're here to talk about week 0. We're here to talk about Swamp Kings. You can follow Justin right there. You can follow Davey Dave on Channel 3 News right there.
Yeah,
Barely.
dude, the world's biggest shameless plug that Robert did when I did my live interview today with Channel 3 as part of my job, by the way. It's all good though. It was. I scrolled across and saw that comment. I was like, oh my god. Well, tune in. Why not?
About your brush fire in Beulah.
I was
Hey,
like,
and by the way, completely contained. Shout out to Escambia County Fire Rescue and our forestry service. No homes harmed. No one harmed. They did a great job.
Yeah, I didn't know if we had a Maui situation going on here. Some direct energy weapons going on in Beulah.
Fortunately, rapid response managed to contain it real well. Oh yeah,
nice. Pero, we're back, and I don't know if you boys are ready. I hit go live, and we had a minute, and I had to run down and go grab my shot here. So, cheers.
Sipping the JMO.
Nice.
So.
I've got my 4 Roses bourbon. Very respectable, not too expensive bourbon.
Yeah,
we're both on the brown train. I'm on the vodka, the purity vodka, as always. Love this stuff.
Yeah,
basically tastes like water.
Cheers. Usual, but
here's to week 0.
Week 0, we're here.
We might have to purchase some new bottles depending on how our picks go throughout the season. So here we go. I didn't have a whole lot left. I think I just killed it, actually.
Rob didn't really do a shot. He just said a sip.
Ooh, no, that was a shot. That was a full shot. Down the hatch. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
Chase that with a sip of water.
I binged it all. I watched it all.
I tried not to. I did 2 episodes. I withheld myself, but I got right here to where we're looking at behind me with Jarvis Moss. So
that was one of the greatest Florida football games of all time. Looking back at it, watching the documentary, it made me want to watch a few of those games over again and just kind of peek over to the sidelines. But this one in particular, I remember being at an FSU game, going to I forgot who FSU was playing, but on the way there, Florida was already playing, and they were lining up for the field goal. So we stopped by this one tailgate, and he blocked it, and everyone was sad at that moment at the FSU tailgate. But I was going crazy. I was like, let's fucking go.
So,
man,
that was a fun thing to look back on. Of course, I was like 4 years old when that happened, 4 or 5, but I'm sitting there just watching it. I mean, first of all, you can't watch this for entertainment purposes. I just want to point that out. Like, I'm sitting here, I have to stand, when I watch sports, I have to kind of stand up. I can't if I'm really into it, I have to stand up and watch this documentary because it's so much intensity and adrenaline coming throughout the screen from what it was back in 05 and 06. But just watching that block kick, first of all, South Carolina was 5-4, and they're going toe to toe with us because Steve Spurrier, coming back to the Swamp for the first time. That's a lot of energy and a lot of emotion.
And Florida lost to South Carolina the year before at South Carolina.
Yeah,
Steve Spurrier as well. And then like the documentary said and Urban said, they wanted Spurrier back. I remember wanting Spurrier back because he left and went to the Zook era, and we were like, come back.
Come back, yeah. So I can't let you guys move on from the South Carolina game without saying how I was at the game, sitting in section 9, row 70, seat 25. And so and I remember that whole weekend so vividly, by the way. My dad, because so just full disclosure, because this documentary hits so close to home because for the longest time, my family had season tickets. We went to almost all the home games during this era, before and a little bit after. So it was so cool. I was actually waiting to find me somewhere in the Gator Walk or somewhere in the crowd. Haven't seen it yet. We'll see. We'll see what episode 3 and 4 have in store for me, because I haven't seen those yet. But I remember my dad was like, "We're gonna camp out before this game." So we stayed at a KOA in a cabin in fucking Stark, Florida, home of the very close to where
I got an uncle there.
Yeah, it's very close to where the state prison is, by the way, where they do all the executions. Because that morning of the game, we went to a McDonald's to get breakfast, and my dad's like, "Oh, hey, so my dad's getting executed today. Do you know where the prison is at?" And the lady at McDonald's is like, "I don't know.
Would you like a McMuffin?"
So how about another McMuffin?
Yeah.
Grandpa's getting murdered today. So we go to the game. Obviously, it happened. I remember before that blocked kick, I was like checking my voice. I was like, okay, I have not lost my voice. After that blocked kick, I swear to God, for the next week, I couldn't talk. It was that electric. It was that amazing. Of course, it led to the national championship. Oh, we're going to talk about this, but I just had to dive into that for a quick second. It was one of the best games I've ever been to in my lifetime.
Well, I heard in the documentary, Urban Meyer said that was the loudest he'd ever heard a stadium ever. How does that rank among the game? The loudest roars in the crowd you've ever heard?
Oh, I think that's probably number one. Yeah. I think that has to be number one, because you think about, because everyone knows what's at stake. If South Carolina makes that kick, Florida doesn't go to a national championship, and everyone in the stadium knows that Florida,
right? SEC championship is online.
Yeah, or the SEC championship. So everyone knows that we just lost to Auburn, so we have to rebound, and we have to have this victory. We have to, and for that to happen, there was a lot of pent up anxiety, emotion that was released. And when you even go back and listen to Vern Lundquist on CBS make the call, his voice completely gets drowned out because the crowd was so loud.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some stuff that as someone who's done broadcasts, that's a hard thing to anticipate as a broadcast, try and talk over that. And that I definitely think it's probably one of the top 5 pops that you've probably ever seen in college football, up there with Penn State blocking an Ohio State kick at home
and taking it home. Yeah.
Game. That's a major one right there. I'd also throw it out there with, of course, the kick 6. I feel like if there's a crucial kick coming in the game and it gets blocked or something like that happens, because usually, I'd say, what would y'all say, 90, 95% of the time, you expect kicks to be made if they're within 40 yards usually, right? You'd probably expect that.
Gotten up and over the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah.
Not blocked and stopped right there. But if I do recall, this was the second block. This was the second block kick of the game, right? This wasn't the only block kick.
It was Jarvis. So actually, it was Jarvis Moss's second block, and they also blocked. They actually blocked an extra point. I think Florida had an extra point blocked as well.
And that's what about Dan Mullen's special teams and Urban Meyer's special teams. They were always making plays on special teams, returning or blocking kicks. That was something
Brandon James on special teams.
And he was a big part of that too.
I want to. Now that I think about it, yeah, Florida blocked an extra point and 2 field goals. That's literally what won them the game, is they blocked those field goals.
Now, I don't want to put too many spoilers out there. Obviously, this is the game. We're just talking about the South Carolina game back then, but they go over the Georgia game in 2008 and focus on Tebow a lot. I do want to say they didn't go as deep into a lot of the negative things.
Yeah, so
people thought.
That's the weird thing, because all right, so the reason I feel the reason why people
Florida fans to watch.
It's good for Florida fans to watch because you're reliving this history. But the reason why people were calling for someone's head to make this documentary happen was of things like Aaron Hernandez, Cam Newton. None of this has been brought up, and I'm just sitting there this was like what made the team like be talked about. Like we had convicts, we had stars, we had basically a priest. I mean, this is like
they did not mention Cam, did not mention Hernandez, did not mention the Pouncey twins at all.
Yeah, and that's like
okay. So you really are getting ahead though, because like I haven't seen those.
But from what I've heard, and I think Rob can like back me up on it because he's watched the whole thing. I don't think it gets brought up at all from all the like the reactions I've seen on social media.
Yeah, it's an anti-spoiler. It's like if you think it's a spoiler to Davis that they weren't brought up.
I mean,
yeah, that's a big time spoiler because literally Aaron Hernandez was a crucial part of the 2008 national championship team. And then you have, of course, what happened like 4-5 years later. Like it's hard to leave that out. There is also a separate Aaron Hernandez documentary that you could just watch. But
you could just watch that. But like there's like multiple of these players like have their own documentary. So like, and now they're making one-day documentary about the program in general. Like what made this team like so iconic was yes, they did win football games, and yes, they did win national championships. They had a Heisman, but they also had so many scandals. Like that's what was so like crazy about it. I feel like when you're watching like The Last Dance, they get into every niche and detail from Rodman to Pippen to Steve Kerr to Phil Jackson. Like they get into everyone's niche and detail, right? This is like, all right, this is what happened in the field. This is what happened in the locker room. This is Irving like chewing some guy's ass out. And I treat my superstars like superstars. I treat my shit like shit. Okay, yeah, this is like basic football stuff. But that's not why people wanted to relive this documentary so much. It was the stuff off the field.
It was a little bit below surface level. It was like
this is
a little bit below that.
So then this is my gripe with the Untold series because they just did the Johnny Manziel
really good. I love
episode, and they're really good. Yeah, like the Manti Te'o one, like that literally made Manti Te'o a human again in a way because obviously he faced so much criticism for the fake girlfriend story. But then you have Johnny Manziel, and like there's actually a lot that Johnny Manziel did that they didn't talk about. And I think the reason why the Untold series, it is good, but they're fairly short. And so you have these Florida Gator episodes. It's 4 episodes and they're 45 minutes apiece. There is like, you'd almost need a Last Dance version of that kind of documentary to really dive deep in all those details, because the Chicago Bulls documentary, that was an hour-long episode for 10 episodes. And so you were able to dive into all those things. And then you have Untold. And again, I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, and fuck you, Rudy. now I know for a fact they aren't going to talk about like Cam Newton and fucking Aaron Hernandez, which is, but also like why? Like
I mean, it's really not a spoiler because if it was if it happened, then I wouldn't talk about it. But that's something that I was kind of looking forward to them talking about as well, and they kind of,
I know,
controversial.
It's weird that they wouldn't talk about that stuff though, because like Aaron Hernandez, like that is a very big like that is a almost, I don't want to call him asterisk, because he was a great Florida football player, and then even if you actually watch the Aaron Hernandez documentary, like he committed some of his crimes while he was a student at Florida.
Yeah,
that would have been a great thing to tie back into.
They kind of mention it once, but this documentary was more or less on the controversies and more on what could have been the dynasty and how it ended.
Is cool and all, and I love like how Brandon Siler, because he was the leader of this team. Like,
Siler, that was good.
Like people,
I like that.
They don't like, he's not really someone that's talked about a lot, but he's like a big spotlight of episodes 1 and 2, right? And that's like a really cool thing. But right now, like through episodes 1 and 2, this is more as like what my buddy Trevor would say, an Urban Meyer puff piece. Because this isn't really like circled around Tim Tebow. Like Tebow, he had his moments with the jump pass and everything so far, and he was like the #1 recruit. But it's still Chris Leak's team under center. And so like it's nothing that really even centers around Tebow. It's more about Urban so far than anything.
Yeah. And he was definitely the main part.
One thing I wish they could have included. My brother and I were talking about this last night. We kind of wish that Chris Leak was involved in this somehow, because he was a major part in the growth of Florida leading up to Urban Meyer. I mean, he was a 4-year starter at Florida, and it just kind of, he was sort of in the background of all this story. and how like they really wanted to recruit Tim Tebow. And I'm not trying to downplay that, because recruiting Tim Tebow was a major part of the success of this team, but Chris Leak still played a very valuable role. And I think what left Chris Leak out of this documentary was that after he graduated, after he went pro, after he even coached with Florida for a little bit, he like was the high school, he was like the head coach of a high school team in Tampa. And then he got tied up into a, like, I guess he was like allegedly dating a student of the high school he was coaching at or something.
Sorry. Illegal.
We don't know if the video is out there or not. But
no, we can't do that.
But I think that's what kept Chris Leak off this documentary. Of all things. So, I mean, there's a lot of players who were very involved with the teams and were not in the documentary, but I do think that there was a driving force in making sure Chris Leak was not involved in this documentary. And it was the fact that allegedly, because I really don't know if it was confirmed or not, he was involved in a underage relationship, and that obviously is horrible.
Yeah, they were definitely.
I just have a question. What's the deal with Tampa and big name stars getting underage relationships, Davis? Because
I will say though, there is a jersey hanging up in my closet that, as of right now, I'm never wearing again.
Tom Brady?
No, in fact, I might be wearing the Tom Brady jersey more often in lieu of the other jersey that's in my closet.
I do want to point out that was kind of funny. When it came to Chris Leak, though,
Tom Brady makes it with his kids, definitely.
Yeah. So like it seems.
Sorry, Davis.
What's so weird is that this Untold has so many episodes and documentaries about scandals and crimes, whether it be like the minor league hockey team that was involved around crimes and like a mafia, Johnny Manziel with everything that he did, and then like the Malice at the Palace. I think there's one with the figure skating. I forget the exact name of who and when that was, but for them to like always be circled around controversy and all their documentaries they made, they really avoided it with this. Like this is their first time they really just talked about the on-field presence history of a situation or an event or an era. So like this is what's kind of weird. Like it's kind of like uncharacteristic for Untold to do this, which I love their documentaries. Like they have created some really good ones, and they do give 30 for 30 a run for their money. But you know, it's ESPN and they're always going to be on top when it comes to that type of stuff. But they've done really well with most of them. I just think they missed some key pieces.
They definitely missed some key pieces, but overall great documentary, and I'm going to watch it again for sure. Just being a Florida fan and reminiscing about those times that are long, long gone, you know, back when we used to win a little bit.
I'll say, like, I just want to take a second to say, like, again, like growing up in that era, going to all of the games, Tebow, you know, winning a Heisman, getting to shake his hand, his broken hand that he had going into the 2007 Capital One Bowl against Michigan. That Florida lost, by the way. But, like it was a major part of my childhood, right? It was a major part of me growing up. It was a major part of it's like the biggest reason why I'm a big Florida fan, even though I didn't even go to school there. Like it's a big reason why I support that program is because my grandfather played football there. That's number one. That's what led to us having season tickets. And when I watched this documentary, it was a lot of nostalgia. You know, it was a lot of going back to when I was just a kid. It was a lot of going back to those tailgates and being at the Gator Walk and just getting to take all this in and just really enjoy, you know, what was at one point a really big part of my life. So that in itself was very cool for me because a lot of the home games, I should say, that you saw, those were games I went to as a kid. And so it was fun getting to watch that and experience that. So when I get to watch the next two episodes, again, I'm going to see if I can find myself in the crowd, but I'm going to enjoy the remainder of this show because it's going to be good. Well, controversy or not.
Yeah. So, what do y'all think is going to be the next like documentary that involves college football then? If y'all have an idea.
Dude, we need Reggie Bush. We need Reggie Bush. Like Reggie Bush, he sued the NCAA today, by the way.
Yes, he did.
Correct.
For defamation. Officially. So we'll see how that goes.
We need Reggie Bush.
We do. That would be a great documentary. Or just on that USC dynasty that was coming out. I'm pro college football documentaries at this point. I was surprised at the amount of footage they had left over from that whole 5-year time span. That was not.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. When I saw because that's what you need to make these documentaries happen. Like people can sit there and talk about it, and you can have the camera stuff and the interviews, but having the behind the scenes, like the midnight workouts and everything like that, like that's stuff where it's like that's what makes this documentary have its more imagery. Yeah, I should say. The one thing I do say needs a documentary. It'll probably be a 10-episode one. Is probably Saban and Alabama have to.
Oh, they have to, and they were the antagonists in the in this documentary twice. They were the 3 times even maybe the foes of this documentary. There, definitely the foes of the Florida Gator fans for that time span. But we are coming up on we're over the 20-minute mark on this documentary, and we have actual college football games to get into, boys. So let's pull it up. First game, all the way from Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah.
Navy midshipmen fighting the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Ireland.
Oi!
Kill it.
And Notre Dame looking like the fan favorite with a 93% right there. They got the line at -20.5 for Notre Dame. I always like to go under that, usually with the opening games, but I don't know, man. I think Notre Dame's got a good team coming back.
So yeah, Notre Dame does have a good team. I do love their coach, and they have a very, very good quarterback out of Sam Hartman. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. But Navy always plays Notre Dame really, really, really tough. And so when we're looking at a -20.5 spread, I'm taking Navy. Now, it could be a 17-point difference. Rudy, I'm not sure if you prepared the locked in thing, but go ahead and lock it in that Navy is going to cover this spread. I will also.
It's going to be a random sound for locks this week.
That's fine.
Don't have lock sound prepared. We're not in week one yet. I got all these sounds, but no lock sound.
Yeah, but y'all know Joey and Patrick. Their parents, they literally just landed in Ireland earlier today. They're at the game. They're going to be at the game. But despite them being as big Notre Dame fans as they are, and as definitely them being favorited, Navy's covering this spread.
Yep. Every time I see Notre Dame, I'll always pour salt on the open wound. Go Herd. Always will rep that win in South Bend. Have to. But this is I hope for the sake of college football trying to branch out and go international, this is a close game because what was it? Northwestern Nebraska last year, or who was it that played last year? Nebraska and who?
Northwestern.
It was Nebraska and Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome game.
That game, it was a good game. I hope for the sake of tradition like this of trying to branch out internationally, it's a good game because things like this don't stick if it's a blowout. Like when college football played in Bristol Motor Speedway.
That was fun. That was a fun game to look back on.
That was
cool.
I
was at Tennessee Virginia Tech. It was really cool. Yeah. And that was a really cool game to watch and be a part of. That's the most ever at a single NCAA sporting event, still to this day, and from what I know. And that's just something that's really cool to witness. But you really hope for good games, kind of like with the Yankees and the White Sox when they played the Field of Dreams game the first year. One of the best baseball games we've seen in the past decade, probably. Excitement all the way through. That's something you want when you try and make a different spin be special on this sport. And you really want that for college football. So I hope Navy, they do cover. And so I'm going to lock that in just for the sake of trying to make college football special.
Oh, I love that episode.
It's a great South Park episode. You should be happy with that lock. I'm giving away random locks today. Giving away random locks. We're gonna be in and lock agreement here, unanimous lock agreement. I just looked it up because we were having questions on it last time. I wanted to know what Navy's new head coach, Brian Newberry, what his philosophy was. Now, I don't know how they're going to run the offense. We'll see what happens with their offensive coordinator, but this guy's been their defensive coordinator since 2019. Navy always has a stout defense. I'm going to go ahead and lock it in, and I'm going to give myself the Western lock. Yeah, that's a pretty solid lock right there.
So I think, Rob, you could just make random locks every week now if you want.
You're having fun with it? You're having a lot of fun with it?
I mean, it's something new.
Yeah,
you know. I don't know why, but it's kind of enjoyable, and it doesn't hurt my eardrums as much as the
loud
shotgun.
Yeah,
yeah, it doesn't hurt my ears as much as the other old sound.
Loud jail cell slamming. Yeah. All right, moving on. That's at 1:30 p.m. too, so we don't really have any early games, but we got that one.
No.
It is what it is. Next game up, boys. Jacksonville State hosts UTEP. Huge game, massive game.
A game that everybody's watching out for.
Game that you're not a real college football fan if you're not watching this game.
I don't even know if I can afford these tickets.
What a line! Yeah, what a line! Oh, I'm hopping out the gate
UTEP
with a lock
with -1.
I am hopping out the gate with a lock. Give me UTEP to cover, baby.
Taking UTEP to cover on this one. We'll give you the lock. And you know what?
For all sake, Conference USA, please, God, do.
All right.
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse.
You got to put it in reverse lock for Justin. I'm not going to lock this one up. Hang on. I don't.
I mean, how many games do we have to lock?
We don't have that many games to lock here. So we're only doing 3 locks. And we can pick them all, but I mean, it's only one, right? It's only one.
It's only one.
I'll go against you. I'll go against Justin, and I'm going to go for Jacksonville State. Give me the lock.
That means you think Jacksonville State's going to win this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. All they have to do is win the game.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
I mean, hey, y'all go for it. I literally, I mean, yeah, UTEP's going to win this ball game. It is at Jacksonville State, though. You never know.
It is at Jacksonville State.
Upsets always happen.
Wait, I don't think Jacksonville State. It's not even in Jackson. Where is that Jacksonville? It's like in Alabama or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Alabama.
I feel like I just saw a picture of Austin Reed in there.
You did, because UTEP's a Conference USA team, and for the out of respect that Marshall used to be Conference USA, I'm going UTEP because. Lo and behold, I don't want to lose to an FCS team from an old conference that we used to run. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm purely just – actually, I can't waste a lock on this, right?
I mean, how many – okay, Rob, how many
I mean, if you're a gambler,
we only
a true gambler is keeping an eye on this game.
Right. Yeah, we only have 7 games here, so it's not that many. Yeah, I'm going to save my lock.
Fine. Okay. I'll say my lock because I see 2 others.
I see 2 others I like too. We're probably looking at the same ones.
I've got my 2 others.
But
I've got my 2 others. I'm excited.
Hawaii, Vanderbilt, and Jose and USC.
Yeah.
No, actually. Well, okay, one of those is correct. The other one, no.
All right, we can't give them away. All right. I'm not going to waste too much more time right here on Jacksonville State UTEP. Do we have any inside knowledge on UTEP at all, boys? Since you're a Conference USA guy.
The only thing I know about this school is that they used to be called Texas Western, and their basketball team was featured in a Disney movie by the name of Glory Road.
There you go. That's why you listen to this podcast and not all those other fancy college football podcasts.
Yeah, the hell with those guys.
Fuck them. That's why you listen to us.
It's going to be 98, though. Does that have a factor on the game?
I mean, it's hot, boys. It's real hot.
Wait, look up. Do they have a turf field or not? That's a huge factor. You got to look that up. I'm looking it up.
While Justin's looking up on if Jacksonville State has a turf field or not, we're all going to say that UTEP's going to win that ball game. I was going with Jacksonville State just because they were at home. and it was only 1 point. So I feel like if they're gonna win, then the bet's right there with you. It's first game of the season. If they're gonna pull off a win, it's gonna be the first game of the season.
They do have a renovation, and that does look turf. They do have a turf field.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot as shit.
No, that's gonna be 120 on that field. I've been at 100 degrees on a turf field, and it is painful. I don't wish it upon anyone. I've done reporting in 120 degrees on a football field. It is not fun.
I will say, this makes me excited to use my new sound. I picked this sound. This is one of my favorite sounds from a press conference last year. Came from the South Carolina game, post Tennessee game press conference, where they asked one of the safeties. They're like, "What'd you do different?"
You just drop your nuts. Really, that's all it is.
You just drop your nuts. Really, that's all it is. So that's going to be a new sound. That's going to be a new sound this year in college football extravaganza. Drop your nuts on that 120-degree turf field. Davis, you hear the new sound?
Yeah, I hear the new sound in the background, yeah.
No. Did you hear the new soundbite?
No, I didn't. So I don't know what happened. I kind of dropped out there, but I'm back now.
You just drop your nuts. Really, that's all it is.
Really, that's all it is, dude. Really, that's all it is. Moving on. UMass at New Mexico State. I like the Aggies. UMass, historically, very, very, very not good football team. But this year things are looking up, allegedly. So I've heard.
What?
Yep.
What do you know? What do you know?
I mean, here's what I know. I know
UMass. Defeated.
UMass, actually, that's incorrect because UMass won a national championship on my NCAA 14 career. I ran the ship with that team.
Why'd you pick UMass?
Because so on NCAA 14, they were the worst rated team.
That's right, and they are the worst rated team.
So, hey, but I took them. Hire me right now. I took them to a national championship.
All right. They're not going to a national championship this year. They're going to lose to New Mexico State.
No, that's why they got to hire me. They got to hire me, give me a 7-figure deal, and you're going to have a national championship.
You're too busy covering brush fires.
You would do it for 6. Don't even lie. You would do it for 6.
No, tell you what, give me a 7-figure guaranteed deal, and if I get fired, I get to keep the money.
Now, this spread, New Mexico State, only favored by 6.5 points. If you're a betting man, I mean, I don't know much about New Mexico State. I'm going to be honest. Or UMass.
Other than their basketball team is in a lot of trouble.
Which one? UMass or
New Mexico State?
What's going on with their basketball team? You know about their basketball team?
Like horrible, like I think like hazing allegations. I think like one of their players like murdered somebody. Like, oh, it was bad. There's a lot going on. It's actually deeper than what we all think. So
that's a crazy hazing.
Crazy stuff going on.
You have to die.
Either way, okay. So not to get too sidetracked.
I'm gonna die for this.
Not to get too sidetracked. But UMass. Okay, yeah, I will say like UMass has like weirdly slipped in a couple of decent players. Yeah, historically they're not a good football program whatsoever, and I don't know if there's ever going to be a day when they will be a good football program. But they've actually slipped in some decent players. I'm going to go with UMass on this one, not locking it in, but I'm just going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt and say, let's do this, UMass. Yeah, and I know one person that went to school there. It was my friend's dad. That's the only reason why I'm actually saying go UMass, because I know someone that went there. So, yeah, go Minutemen.
What's the thing that if you get all the locks wrong we have to do this year?
Loaded shotgun.
Loaded shotgun. Davis.
Wait, and what is that again?
If you miss 5 picks.
It's a shot in a shotgun.
Okay.
UMass was 1-11 last year.
I would have to make sure I do that on a weekend.
Well, we do the
because
podcast
otherwise, if
Mondays.
I have to go to work the next day, it's going to be terrible.
We do the podcast on Mondays.
It's like barely a drink. Okay, now I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue it.
We typically do the podcast on Mondays. It's a Wednesday night. We have 6 viewers here live. Thank you guys for joining us. Hop in the chat. We'll answer questions. We also have a call-in number. We'll flash that on screen when it's time.
And just drop your nuts.
Really, that's all it is. All right. I don't know what to say to you, Davis. If UMass gets this right, I will take a shot. If UMass wins, I will take a shot.
I think it's just more criminal that we've been on this game for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Look, we're real serious on this podcast.
Scandal. There's a hazing scandal going on where they're just murdering people, apparently. San Diego State playing the Ohio Bobcats. They're going to be favorite by -2.5.
Give me San Diego State to cover and lock me in, dog.
Yep. Same here. Lock me in. San Diego State to cover. I think San Diego State, they have a weird.
There you go,
Randy.
You got the Randy Hot lock.
Yeah, but San Diego State also has a weird way of being an extremely good team. They have a way of recruiting running backs. I know that one of their quarterbacks is a transfer from Virginia Tech. He had a decent year last year, but we all were in San Diego last year, and we got to experience some of the heat that it can bring sometimes. That stadium, the Snapdragon Stadium that they play in now, that was the stadium that replaced the old San Diego Chargers Stadium. They tore down that stadium. They replaced it with the Snapdragon Stadium. It's almost like the swamp minus the humidity. It's just an oven inside that stadium. So that's one thing that I can say about San Diego State and their stadium that might impact them, is that it can get so freaking hot over there. But go ahead and give me
a unique name for a stadium.
Snapdragon Stadium.
Snapdragon. Well, clearly it's a sponsorship. It's a sponsorship name of some kind. But no, lock me in. They're going to win this game big time.
Another lock. You guys are going crazy with my locks. Davis, you get the sexy saxophone lock. I feel like one of those AI people, one of those AI TikTokers now. You know what I'm talking about? Nope.
No.
Look it up on your own time. This is college football.
I don't have TikTok, so I don't know.
Good for you. You don't buy into the Chinese propaganda. All right.
My wife does.
His wife does. She posts TikToks too.
Yeah, she does. They sometimes involve Draco.
We should. Draco's got a tick. That's how you make all that money. That makes sense. All right. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. I believe both of their stadiums are being renovated. I know Vanderbilt Stadium is definitely being renovated. Hawaii Stadium might have actually burned down. That's no good either. But Vanderbilt,
different island.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking around. Vanderbilt, big time favorite, 17.5. And if you do recall, last year Vanderbilt absolutely shit kicked Hawaii in Hawaii.
Ass whooping.
First week too. I think it's going to be somewhat the same. 17.5. I'm going to lock this one in as my other lock. It's not too much given last year and what that was like. So we're going to lock that one in. I can't hit any of these. These are all terrible. We're going to hit the Lee Corso.
Not so fast, my friend.
There you go. Lee Corso.
So Vanderbilt is obviously trying to plan for bigger things, because I think it was a picture that came out yesterday. Like, they're going to be starting their season with a part of their end zone just non-existent, which is not the most uncommon thing, by the way. I didn't get why. There's a couple journalists that were like, "Oh, look how sorry Vanderbilt is. Like, they're starting their season while their stadium is still under construction." That's actually not an uncommon thing. So, like, Texas A&M did that like 4 years ago. But with that all being said, I'm going to cover the spread. Vanderbilt, lock that in, my final lock, because Vanderbilt, they're getting a lot of love this year. I mean, a lot of love for Vanderbilt, but there was even like 1 or 2 journalists that said, you know what? Consider them a sleeper to win the SEC East. That's not going to happen, but give them enough respect to cover this spread this week. So lock me in.
You're locked in. I'll give you a little punch.
Yeah.
Justin, I assume you traded your lock for the San Diego State game for this one.
Yeah.
Yep. So that makes sense. But I'm assuming you're on the Vandy train with us as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am. Yep. I'll run Vandy.
Bada bing, bada boom. Moving on to
These are some ugly games.
San Jose State. Yeah, not the prettiest slate for the first weekend, but then we get some Thursday games. We got a whole slate of Thursday games. This one.
Are we talking the Thursday games?
Not today. No, we can talk those.
No, we'll save those for next week. We have some good games on Thursday. If I was wearing my orange and blue, we'd talk about it.
Yep. Big time favorites, the Trojans, facing San Jose Spartans. It's Spartan versus Trojans. This is like ancient times right here in the Coliseum.
31
points.
Yeah,
okay, but the over-under 66.
So without locking it in, I would actually be more inclined to take USC because I think they're going to sleep on this game. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a great start to the game, and then they're going to pull him eventually. But, I mean, it would be like enough to where I think San Jose State could etch out a cover if you were to take them. But I'm not locking this in because USC could also beat them by 60. So, Caleb, I think the big thing is Caleb Williams. I don't think he's going to repeat as a Heisman, but the number one focus for him is will he go number one overall in the upcoming NFL draft. So it's going to be a good game for him. I think he's going to play fairly light. I think he'll throw like 30 times, complete 22 of them, and then he'll probably throw for 300 yards and sit out the fourth quarter.
You know what? I think they cover. There's a reason why a lot of analysts have USC in their top 4 teams to make the playoffs this year. They're gonna have a great offense. The defense is the question. Now,
Lincoln Riley's team.
Yeah, the defense is the major question, which does not play well towards me calling the lock on the over. But I'm gonna do it in hopes that USC has somewhat of a good defense this year, at least good enough to keep San Jose State at bay. Lock me in. Ooh-wee. Ooh, can do. What say you, Justin?
I'm going to go lock USC to cover. This over-under is kind of suspicious to me. Like, it could be a 44-10 game or, something like that. So it's hard to, lock in on the over-under. But I will take USC winning by 31. So give me that.
My man. Let's go. Killing it. Absolutely shredding these picks tonight. And last game for this weekend, we have the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs.
Louisiana!
Playing the Florida International Cougs.
This one's pretty easy from a Conference USA perspective. FIU is getting up there with the New Mexico States and UMasses and UConns of how bad they are.
Minus 11.5 here.
Yeah, I definitely would run Louisiana Tech to cover that. That's a really easy one in my opinion. They've been a better team in Conference USA for a while, and FIU's been the bottom team for probably the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I had to go with one or the other, I think I would go with Louisiana Tech for that exact same reasoning. I think Louisiana Tech, historically also been a pretty consistent football program there. We had Jeff Driscoll transfer there from Florida back in the day.
Resurged his career, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we look at the last 5 here, FIU did top Louisiana Tech by 8 in double OT. So I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. Who knows?
I sure as hell don't.
Yeah.
I will say, I have Louisiana Tech winning this ball game. I have them covering. If I had an additional lock, I would lock that in. I will say the one thing that FIU has going for them are those sweet Miami Vice jerseys.
Those are fire.
They had to stay relevant. They had to do something to put them in the papers, and they whipped out the Miami Vice jerseys, which, by the way, I think better fits FAU, but whatever. They went ahead and jumped on it.
Whoa.
And good for them.
FAU's Boca Raton, my guy. You got a whole
but the color scheme works better. Scheme works better. And I know that FAU is Boca Raton, but the color scheme, I think, works a little bit better.
It's Miami Vice. Like, that's a whole different thing. Like,
yeah. Let's see. This was the original Twitter post, right? These are pretty good. We'll share this. Yeah, there we go. That one's gonna be a good picture.
They are pretty clean. They're clean jerseys, and I think that it was like one guy on Barstool that I saw that was like, I have never cared whatsoever about FIU, but I kind of do now based on these jerseys. So hey, good for them for at least flashing it up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know how far those jerseys are going to take you.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like when Napier came in last year, Florida didn't really do a whole lot of special things. Didn't do the homecoming jerseys or anything like that. You know, he kind of made you earn. And then you might have missed it. No, I think it was in the first episode or second episode. I won't talk about the Gator documentary anymore. But basically, you have to earn the right to wear your team's logo or cool things, right?
I think that was the first episode. I think that was in the first episode.
Yeah. So, but that's all around, basically.
So, we done with picks, right?
Yep, done with picks.
All right. So I did steal some bold predictions off Josh Pate's Late Kick show, and I thought that'd be some interesting combo that we could throw out. Maybe like a little bit love it or hate it. Throw out Davis, back from our old days on Sports Call. Throw out some statements here. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. I'm gonna start it off with Pac-12 has no top 10 teams after conference title week.
After conference title week.
I want to put this out here. So the over-under win totals are for USC, Oregon, and Washington are all at 9.5. Utah, Oregon State, and UCLA are all at 8.5.
I hate it. I think the Pac-12 is going to have a fantastic year. It's going to be the last year of the Pac-12. It's going to be one of the best years the Pac-12 has ever had as a whole conference.
Repeat, just really quick, just make sure I heard it right. Repeat the
question.
No
team in the top 10.
Pac-12 will have no team in the top 10, basically for Selection Sunday for the playoff rankings.
I hate it because I think USC is going to have a pretty solid team. I mean, but you also say top 10. Mm-hmm. Like, I think USC is going to have a top 10 team by the end of the year. Now, will they be in the Final Four? That's another conversation. But yeah, I mean, I hate it. I do. I think that at least USC is going to be up there.
Also, in our first episode, you were a heavy Washington guy.
Correct. These aren't my takes.
Yeah, man.
These aren't my takes, gentlemen.
Michael
These
Penis.
Predictions. These are just predictions, all right? Let me get to my take, first of all. I hate it, all right? These are like, you guys should know better. I just said these are statements, not my actual opinion.
I watched the Late Kick with Josh Pate. I mean, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to that, you should probably go subscribe to that one. You'll get statistics and shit, actually. And also, I want a Chalai of Supremacy. So that's just me. I'm plugging him on my own show.
Oh, yeah, the Chalai of Supremacy. He likes the plugs. You got to clip it and send it to him.
Yeah, he won't. He'll be like, you're a casual. You shouldn't have a college football show.
But no, Washington is a heavy favorite for me. They're my dark horse. I love them. One of my favorite teams with Michael Penix in their receiving core. They got a couple defensive guys in the front seven. Like I said, these are not my opinions. These are just predictions that I found on a show. All right, moving on.
Oh, good job with the content.
Not so fast, my friend.
Don't forget about Utah either. Or Oregon. Or Oregon State.
Like I said last week, I think the Pac-12 has a good chance of taking out themselves in a lot of different ways. Because they are, I mean, they all do face each other.
Mm-hmm.
But how about this one? No conference favorite wins the conference championship. So your Power 5 conference favorites are Clemson at plus 150, Ohio State at plus 165, Texas at plus 100, USC plus 200, and then Georgia favored at minus 110 for the SEC.
I like that. I think one of them will win though, but I could see a world where none of them win either, right? Like I could see someone in the SEC sneaking up. I think Texas has a really good shot to win the Big 12 though. That's my main kicker. I could see Clemson losing to Florida State. Davis looks like he's asleep. Davis is fucking frozen, dude.
Oh, it's so bad. No, so it's not Georgia that I'm hanging on to not winning the conference title, because I favor the SEC West. Whoever comes out the SEC West is winning the SEC this year, in my opinion. And it's not Ohio State either, because until they beat fucking Michigan, I'm not going to ride Ohio State to win.
That's what I was going to say. Michigan's there. Penn State's there, but Penn State has to prove itself.
They have a new quarterback. It's hard to tell. You can't really say with them.
It's hard to tell, but they could be 6-0 going into that Ohio State game. That's going to be huge.
But that's the thing. Like, Clemson is definitely like a true favorite to me. Like, I don't know. Like, of course, there's Florida State and North Carolina, but due to Mac Brown's coaching, I think they drop a game stupidly. And then also FSU, I think they also I've said it before, I'll say it again. By week 4, they'll be out of the playoff picture. And in my opinion, Clemson will beat them. That's where I sit. USC, I don't think is winning. Like I said, Washington's my favorite. And with the Big 12, Texas is probably your best option, but it's also the Big 12, and random teams come from out of anywhere in the Big 12. It's just so sporadic.
Big 12 and Pac-12 cannibals they are. Cannibal conferences.
But it makes fun.
It is fun to watch.
Let's see. Moving on to the next one. I like this one a lot because it's not getting talked about enough. Tennessee goes 11-1.
11-1. I could see it happening. But you got to think. Okay.
You want their schedule? Do you want their schedule?
Yeah,
I can read it off to you.
Yep.
Yeah. So they got Virginia week 1. That's a 1-0 in my opinion. They got Austin, PA 2-0. Florida. That's probably 3-0. Let's be real. UTSA.
I don't know. That's at Florida. That's the first SEC game. I don't know.
Yeah, true. It's at Florida. But UTSA, sleeper game. I'm not even going to cut it short. UTSA is a sleeper game. Mm-hmm. South Carolina, Beamer ball might come out hot this year.
I'm big on South Carolina this year after the end of last year.
That's a trap game. It's a trap game, in my opinion. A&M, that's not easy whatsoever. Alabama, at Alabama this year. That's not easy whatsoever. Then they go Kentucky, UConn, Missouri, and then Georgia.
Kentucky's not easy. Georgia's Georgia. I don't think they're going to go 11-1 just from listening to that schedule. I think they drop a couple games.
Davis, you want a refresher?
Tennessee goes 11-1.
Yeah, Tennessee.
By the way, my phone's been overheating on this. I'm on my phone, so my phone keeps overheating. But we'll keep it going. It cooled down, so here we are again.
So Tennessee goes 11-1 this year. Do you want their schedule?
Didn't we review their schedule last week?
We did, but it's just a take, like going 11-1. Like,
no, I don't think they go 11-1 because I think that with Joe Milton at quarterback, there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies. I think the first couple of games will be fine, but I think he's going to start settling into, what we've seen in the past, the inconsistencies, interceptions, and completions. We got to stop being so obsessed over having a cannon of an arm and just start focusing on actually being productive. And I think that Tennessee will probably be 10-3 at the end of the year.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Tennessee's gonna got him. Tennessee is gonna be a great football team. The SEC East is gonna be very hard, but I want to say they have to drop a couple. I want to say the SEC might cannibalize itself as well this year. I think it's going to be a crazy year in all conferences.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun year. I don't see Tennessee being atop it. But I do want to say this take right here is kind of unique that I saw. The entire college football playoff is made up entirely of teams with the color red. So I do want to point this out. Like, I'll read off a list. In the top 16 odds to make the college football playoffs, 9 of them are red. And I'll read them off. Georgia, -220. Ohio State, +115 at second. Alabama, +155 at fourth. USC at +250. And then Florida State, Oklahoma, Utah, Wisconsin, A&M, Texas Tech, Ole Miss. So 9 teams in the top 16 are made of red. And I think
Ole Miss wears mostly blue though.
True.
That's a blue team.
I don't know.
Ole Miss blue team.
No.
Dude. Ole Miss.
All right. How about this? I'll just take Ole Miss off because they're at the bottom. All right, Rob? We're just going to throw that one out of there. And so then you don't have to throw a pitter-patter party.
And FSU fans will be very quick to tell you that it's garnet and not red.
Garnet. And go.
You know how many times I've been yelled at for calling it red?
And what's Bama? Bama's literally fucking crimson. They're the Crimson Tide. But no one's fucking saying shit. They're fucking red.
They don't know any better over in Alabama.
Anyways.
You don't tell an Alabama fan that they are red. They are crimson.
Very likely.
It's funny. It is funny how in college sports of all times, let's say you decide to go to you go to Lowe's, and you want to go find a color for your home, and you're like, yeah, I want blue, but your wife is like, well, no, we want azure blue, and you're like, well, what the fuck's the difference? But then you're a college football team, and it's like your wife could be like, yeah, go blue team, and you're like, no, we are azure.
Has he experienced this before? Like, this is like really like personal. He's getting into.
Yeah, I think
no. Like, well, I say no. First off, Amanda and I, we live in an apartment complex. We get no say in what our place is painted. But like, no, it's like a real thing. It's like it's pretty funny how like we can obsess over the colors of our college teams, but then like in other life things, like we really wouldn't care what color it was.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no because I'm gonna say that a non-red dominated team is gonna break up that. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Who's gonna break it up?
Texas. Texas.
I mean, we've been saying Texas is going to break it up for like 15 years. So
I'm good. This is the year. This is the year.
No.
I'm sorry. With Texas, I'm just going to have to see it when I believe. I'm going to have to.
You could have gone Clemson.
No. Believe it when I see it. That's what it is. I'm going to believe it when I see it with
Michigan
Texas.
Made the playoffs.
I said that last week. I'm seeing it this week.
You could go Michigan.
I'll say Michigan's fine.
Like, there were so many better options. So you said Texas.
Dude, I'm gonna be big on Texas until they lose. That's me with Washington this year. I am writing whatever they got going on up there at Husky Stadium. But in all seriousness, Michigan, Big Blue, they are literally the Big Blue. They could easily just spoil the red party in this take. I did see this bold take. I do like their bold takes. You can tweet at us. If you're listening to this podcast, tweet at us on Twitter. I get notifications. I'll check that out. If you want to call in, call in.
I don't know who my boys are, but like they're not sending any texts or call-ins. I'm like, where y'all at today?
I know. Well, we're typically on Mondays, but we had a reschedule. We like to be flexible with our co-hosts here, so we were flexible this week. But we're coming up on the hour mark. I didn't do the intro like I normally do.
Yeah, so that's why I was so thrown off. Like, all right, the countdown's happening, and then I hear didgeridoo music instead of our damn intro. And I'm like,
dude,
didgeridoo.
I think I was thrown off because what had happened was I hit the countdown, and I went to go get my bottle to take a shot, and it was downstairs, and I was playing tennis earlier, and I have a big cramp in my right leg, and so I had to hobble down the stairs and back up to go get my bottle. And then by the time I sat down, I just completely forgot. So we will play the world's famous college football extravaganza intro as the outro for this show. But any final takes? Everybody, any plugs?
Watch Late Kick with Josh Pate. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And then it's going to be on 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time. Make sure you watch it. He's got the best takes. JP poll just came out. Yeah, my takes, my plug's better than yours, Rob.
I did it first. Totally did it first.
I gave detail. You can watch it. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on listen on Spotify. But yeah.
And you have to follow all the different social medias because he posts different things. But also follow ours. If you're listening to this and you're not subscribed to College Football Extravaganza on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. That helps us out in the algorithm. And we're gonna get better, guys. Look at this. Do you see the setup here? That was all me. And Canva Pro. Little plug for Canva
fucking Pro.
It's pretty good.
Pro.
We do. I love Canva because you know what? I'll plug Canva because it saved my life at work numerous times.
Yeah,
it's plugging Canva over here. No one from Canva's watching, Davis. You don't have to plug Canva.
Canva is good, but follow me right here. Be posting comedy material Saturdays. I'm clipping up podcasts and comedy stuff to post on my social media. So our Vincent Comedy, I got new jokes here in Pensacola. I got a show coming up. If you're here in Pensacola at the Emerald Republic, August 31st at 7:30 p.m., I'll be opening for a bunch of funny comedians there. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. What else can I say?
Yeah, I got to see you at one of your shows soon. Again.
Yes, sir.
Again.
Just drop your nuts. Really, that's all it is.
Really, that's all it is. All right, good show, chaps. We'll break it out with the outro.
These people don't give a shit.
Who's giving them the business?